just start by saying that I think that the Tesla Model S is the superior vehicle that Tesla's offering right now. And I know that it sounds like I'm contradicting myself because I'll say things like, oh, I even at one time suggested if you were going to get a Tesla, you should only get a Model X. Well, I take that back. You should definitely go for the Model S. I just feel like it's their oldest vehicle. They've had ample time to work out the kinks, in my opinion. Seems to always be rock solid whenever I get a Model S loaner. The road service techs, or whatever you want to call them, Rangers, whatever, the Tesla guys who are out there driving around, they're using Model S's. As a matter of fact, they're using old Model S's. They're not using like P100Ds or 100Ds or anything like that. So that right there is kind of a testament to that model. I don't know. I like I said, I've got several things on my mind. Another thing is, people will every once in a while write in, and I appreciate all of the feedback and things that people say on there. But a couple days ago, someone wrote something about how people who don't have any idea, or I'm sorry, who do not truly know or understand science are making demands or talking about what they want out of a car. And and like I said, to that person who wrote that, I do appreciate your comment. I think that what you wrote was very objective, and I didn't take any offense to it at all. But you have to understand that I am a consumer, and I reserve the right to say, hey, this is what I want. Now, you could argue and say, well, if you weren't getting what you wanted, why did you buy the Tesla when you bought it? Well, simply because I was sold a different scenario. I was sold on a belief that 257 miles of projected range would be more than enough. And it's not, because you don't really get that. So no one really truly talked to me about projected range and real world range. No one ever said that to me. I just knew that I wanted to get the largest battery pack possible, so I did right in that way. I just wish I would have waited a little bit longer, because then I could have gotten a 100D rather than a 90D, and I think that I would be a lot happier now, not to mention the fact that a lot more of the kinks that I had to go through would have been worked out. It's like the ghosting windshield and various other things, the falcon wing doors, rubbing the inside of the door jambs, all that stuff I wouldn't be dealing with if I would have just hung in there and waited for a 100D, maybe even waited another year for it, because it seems like the 100D right now is a lot better than the 100D that came out, say, early 2017. It seems like the ones that they're putting out as of February 2018 are the ones to go with. So if you really want the space and everything and all the features of the Model X, and you can't be told otherwise, well, you know what, right now it's probably your time. I can guarantee you that. Not everything is bad about having a 90D. I mean, like I said, it's a lot better than, in my opinion, than having, say, a 60D or a 75D. I think that I would really be struggling, and that brings me to my next point when we're talking about range, because these guys who do these reports, these consumer reports guys, or these guys from Edmunds, they're not living with the car. I'm living with the car. Not only am I living with the car, I'm accelerating the experience. See, I'm giving you a look 3, 4, 5 years into the future. I've already put 67,000 miles on this car. So I'm like really putting this vehicle through rigorous testing, and I think that makes me somewhat of an authority on it, because I drive all of my cars typically somewhere around 300,000 miles, and I end up selling them off. I don't run them into the ground. I take care of them. I know how to work on them. I don't know how to work on this car, correction, but I was raised to work on my cars and understand cars and how they work and how the components around the engine and everything under the hood, what part it played in the process of operating and getting from A to B and getting down the road. I don't know of anybody who can put the miles on. I know one guy, actually. He's a friend of mine, and unfortunately his Tesla just got totaled. He was ahead of me, but I was really picking up steam and I was catching up to him. I think his got totaled somewhere around, oh gosh, I think he was around the 80,000 mile mark when his got totaled, and I had already crossed the 60,000 mile threshold. So being that he got his 1 year earlier than mine, I'd say that makes me a force to be reckoned with when it comes to putting miles on a car and experiencing everything out on the road. I'm out here doing it all the time. Like I told you guys, this is my livelihood. I bought this vehicle as a test for the company. I wanted to take our limousine company in a different direction. I wanted to run it with fuel efficient, or I'm sorry, not just fuel. At first I was looking at hybrids, but that didn't work out. But I did want to take us in a different direction. You know, first and foremost, unlike most people would think, most people would think, oh, he's doing this just because, or maybe he wants to say he cares about the environment. No, my first order of business was giving the middle finger to the oil companies. Really, I wanted to just tell them to go pound sand and not have to deal with them ever again. So, range is everything to me. I have a right to demand it. I have a right to want it. I have a right to tell people, if you drive around a lot, you're gonna want more range, because once again, I'm gonna make this point. I've made it several times. It takes too long to charge. You know, if you could get 200 miles in 5 minutes for real, then this would be an entirely different conversation. I wouldn't be saying all this stuff. But that's not the case. You know, when you have to stop and charge this car, you better be ready to wait for like 45 minutes or so. And don't even think about charging it, supercharging it multiple times in one day, because the more you plug up to that supercharger, the slower it gets. It doesn't want, you get the rapid charge, and in order for the vehicle's program to protect itself from too much rapid charging. So, I mean, these are all things to consider when I'm talking about range all the time. That's why that's what I have to hang on to. That's what makes me different, or my experience different from a lot of other people's experiences, because I'm out here trying to, get the most out of this car and experience it for what it is. And, I mean, I know people who don't drive more than 2,000 miles a year on their cars. So good for them. I wish that I didn't have to get out here and drive so much, but you pay the cost to be the boss. All right. Well, thanks a lot. I appreciate you watching this video if you got all the way through the end. I am working on part 8 as we speak. I should have it out this week. It's going to be a good one. This one's got some, there's a lot of good stuff to tell you guys. That's why I just break these things up. I try to keep them in somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes, because there's just so much to tell you. But, part 8 is going to cover August of 2017. So I am literally almost a year behind on everything that I have to share with you. So hang in there. I've got it coming. I hope all of you are having a great day.